Since the 80s, kids have been prescribed puberty blockers for a variety of reasons. The law you passed prevents that. So you steal from kids who would like to be able to pause the ability to further.
And what are those reasons? Can you elaborate? Oh, you don't want to elaborate. Maybe it's because if you actually did, people will know that it's not an argument when we talk about giving puberty blockers to physically healthy children. Putting puberty blockers into healthy children is not only unethical, the children will experience permanent damage, psychologically, and of course, physically. Speaking of kids who go through precocious puberty, we're actually not giving puberty blockers to those kids anymore as much as we used to. So what I want to ask this man if I was in the room that day, if doctors are slowly stopping handing out puberty blockers to children who go through precocious puberty that has been legal since the 80s due to serious side effects, how on earth can you medically justify giving puberty blockers to physically healthy children, the trans kids? Do you think it's possible to identify your way out of dealing with side effects? But we all know it's not the case. If doctors are being more hesitant giving medicine to children who actually need the medicine, how come it's suddenly safe and reversible to give the same medication to children who do not physically need the medication? Make it make sense. If you believe that a child can be trapped in the wrong body, if you believe that a child who physically do not need puberty blockers would be totally safe and not physically harmed by the drugs, you're an ideologue and you're not being factual. Congratulations, you're stupid.
Fewer than 3% of people who do any kind of transition regret it and go back.
Not true, but what a surprise. You don't follow the truth. I'm so shocked. Sarah Higdon, a fellow non-woke transsexual here on YouTube, said it best.
When you talk about the detransition rate, what generally happens is there's no follow-up. The longest study that's been done is 5 years out. The average detransition happens between 4 and 10 years. So we're not capturing all of that. Plus, if you haven't had your primary sex organs removed, you just stop taking hormones and then you never go see your doctor again. They never follow up and you just fall off the rolls. So stats on detransition is completely false.
Exactly, and I want to add on to that. We're seeing now in the last couple of years the huge rise, and especially young girls transitioning into being men. The huge rise in young people transitioning is quite a new thing. So we need to wait a couple of years in order to get a realistic statistic about detransitioners. And if you cannot wait that long, search "I'm detransitioning" on YouTube, because there are a lot of videos out there. Do it on TikTok too, because that will prove that it's only less than 3%, totally bullshit.
There has been really robust standards of care laid out by all the leading medical associations about guidelines. You believe you know better than science, you know better than parents, you know better than people who even do know themselves. You're going to prevent them from having options because you personally have a problem with something that a couple of people and some other people you're aware of knew that are statistically significant.
Wow. He literally said none of them talking about detransitioners are statistically significant. In other words, he doesn't care about detransitioners. I would have loved to ask him, if the detrans rate is higher, would you be for banning medical transitions for children? If his only argument is it's not happening, we all have to remember to always ask these types of people, if it did happen, would you be against it? So instead of saying that the number of detransitioners is higher, like literally a lot higher than you think, maybe start out by saying, if the number was higher, would you also be against children transitioning? The medical professionals you're talking about are ideologues just like you. Here's an example. My trans doctor, the doctor who gave my transition, claims that it's reversible to give puberty blockers to healthy children, the trans kids. That is factually wrong, and most importantly, medically wrong, which she should know. After being on testosterone for 6 months, I asked her, I have a very dry nose, like the inside of my nose. I have a hard time sleeping and sometimes breathing. So I asked her, is that due to the testosterone? And she said, no, of course not. No. It has nothing to do with testosterone. When I saw my regular doctor who knows nothing about gender transitions a week later or something, she said, of course it has something to do with testosterone. Probably the most common side effect for a female losing estrogen. What I'm trying to say is you cannot trust trans doctors. And yes, I'm gonna generalize here. I don't care. Most trans doctors believe in trans ideology. That's why they love their jobs, and that's why they hand out medical transitions like it's candy. I know it doesn't make sense, but these medical professionals do not follow science whatsoever. They do not care about biology because their ideology is convincing them that biology and science are these harmful transphobic things. I can't sugarcoat what I'm about to say, but unfortunately, there are some parents out there in the world who abuse their children. And what's a little bit more common is horrible parents exist. Parents who don't know what's right for their children. Just look around. You can actually see this in real life. When I was in LA, I saw obese kids everywhere. It was terrifying. So yes, buddy, the anti-woke side who's trying to ban medical transition for children know what's best for children because they follow the truth, science, biology, and they actually care about the children. No child will benefit from a medical transition. It doesn't matter if the child grows out of their gender dysphoria or if they actually deal with it as an adult. They will not benefit from the puberty blockers, from cross-sex hormones, and of course, the surgeries. The puberty blockers will most likely sterilize them, give them osteoporosis, underdeveloped genitals, and a bunch of psychological issues. So it's not fair to any of these children, especially the ones who are just gender confused. We do not have the right, as the adults in society, to ruin children's bodies, no matter what the children claim to be when they're children. Giving physically healthy children puberty blockers is abuse. Period. I cannot believe that this is a debate. We're debating if it's okay to abuse children. What's going on?
This is why you should not let your kids go on hormone blockers. Some preteens may feel like they want to go on hormone blockers in order to prevent themselves transitioning into a body that they feel like is not theirs. Some of you might be thinking, well, what's wrong with puberty? And that's the thing. If you don't put them on hormone blockers, they get the chance to have 2 puberties. And we all know how fun puberty is. Not only that, but if someone is female to male transitioning, not only can they go through a second puberty when they're taking testosterone, they may also start menopause. So not only do they have the gift, the opportunity, the chance of a lifetime to have 2 puberties, but during the second one, they might be having hot flashes and cramps. They might have to go back to the endocrinologist because they might develop osteoporosis. Who wouldn't want that for their kid, you know?
I'm starting to think that these people's unnatural hair colors are getting into their brains. And you might think, what brains? So she was trying to be funny, and I don't think it was working. But that's not what's important. She's actually claiming that putting puberty blockers into healthy children is physically more healthy than if these kids waited until they're adults. Where did she get that from? How can she totally ignore, well, I know the answer to this. How can she ignore all the side effects that children will actually experience if they receive puberty blockers? She's already talking about it. So it's like, well, she's a liar, just like the rest of the QIA plus cult. Of course, biological women who go on testosterone when they're adults will experience menopause. That's what I'm going through right now. But to claim that it wouldn't happen if the children received puberty blockers as children is demented. I've been on testosterone for over 4 years and I deal with a lot of side effects. True. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm physically healthy. And I've actually found ways to alleviate my symptoms and secure my future health, physical health. If you want to learn more about this, I just started a series on my channel called Female Health, where I talk about all the side effects biological females who lose estrogen for whatever reason experience and what to do about them. I'm so excited about this series and I'm so excited diving into this topic. Am I the only one noticing how adult activists in the queer community are bashing so hard on puberty? The whole concept of going through your natal puberty. It's gross to me. I'm just going to be honest here. I think it's gross that these adults with purple hair are telling children especially that their natal puberties are just not fun and icky and not right. I of course do not believe that all people who are for children transitioning are evil. There are different reasons why people advocate and actually condone this evil act, this evil thing to do to children, but I'm starting not to care about those reasons. We all have access to the internet, and we all have a responsibility to do research when talking about such a serious topic. If you're not able to understand that we're supposed to leave children alone, and we cannot mess with children's bodies, I don't know what to tell you. Other than I think it's disturbing that this is even a debate. We have to protect children's mental health, physical health, future sexual health, and future fertility. We can do all of that if we just leave them alone and we do not put drugs in them. Actually being open-minded, except if they're just gay, straight, or gender non-conforming. To actually communicate with these children and delete their TikToks from their phones. Thank you all for watching this video. If you want to see more content like this, remember to hit subscribe and the notification bell. If you want to support my work, my PayPal is in the description down below, but no pressure whatsoever, because I'm already super grateful for all of you. Remember, you can become a member of this channel. We have so much fun, so come join us. Follow me on Twitter and Rumble, and I'll see you all in my next video. Peace out.